Dear my friends, and a warm welcome to Senior Wise Journey, the channel where we navigate the golden years with grace, wisdom, and vitality. I'm your host, and tonight we're going to have an honest, friend-to-friend conversation about a topic that affects millions of men, but is too often met with silence: prostate health. If you're over 60, you might think that waking up multiple times a night is just a non-negotiable part of aging. You might have accepted that feeling of pressure, that frustrating inability to feel truly empty, as your new normal. But what if I told you that much of this discomfort doesn't start with your age, but with your habits? Specifically, 5 seemingly innocent nighttime habits that could be quietly waging a war on your prostate. Tonight, we're not just going to shine a light on these hidden culprits. We're going to arm you with simple, powerful strategies to reclaim your sleep, your comfort, and your control. This isn't about drastic measures. It's about gentle adjustments that can lead to a profound difference. So grab a cup of herbal tea, get comfortable, and let's begin this journey to better nights together. Part 1. The Midnight Reservoir. Rethinking your relationship with water. Let's start with something we all believe is unequivocally healthy: water. We're told to stay hydrated by every doctor and health magazine, and they're right. But for a man over 60, when you hydrate is just as important as if you hydrate. The most common yet overlooked habit that places immense stress on the prostate is the well-intentioned act of drinking too much water in the hours leading up to bed. Imagine this. Your body, after a long day, is preparing for its most crucial work: repairing, restoring, and recharging. Your kidneys naturally slow their filtration rate. Your bladder is meant to be at rest. Now, picture pouring a large glass or two of water into this system right before you turn out the lights. Instead of a peaceful reservoir, you've created a floodgate waiting to burst. As we age, the prostate gland undergoes a natural process of enlargement known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. Think of the urethra, the tube that carries urine from the bladder, as a garden hose. In our youth, it's wide open. With BPH, the growing prostate gently squeezes this hose, narrowing the passage. Now add the excess late-night water. Your bladder fills quickly, sending urgent signals to your brain to wake up. But when you get to the bathroom, the narrowed urethra makes it difficult to empty completely, and the prostate, already under pressure, struggles to cooperate. You go back to bed only for the cycle to repeat 2, 3, or even 4 times a night. This isn't just about interrupted sleep. It's a cycle of inflammation. Each time your bladder stretches to its limit, it puts pressure on the sensitive prostate tissue. Over time, this chronic pressure can exacerbate inflammation, making BPH symptoms worse. You experience more urgency during the day, a weaker stream, and that nagging feeling of not being finished. I remember speaking with a gentleman named Robert, an 78-year-old retired history teacher. He was meticulous about his health and proudly drank a 32-ounce bottle of water every evening while watching the news, believing he was flushing toxins. Yet he hadn't slept for more than 2 consecutive hours in nearly a decade. He was perpetually fatigued, and his urologist told him his prostate issues were advanced for his age. We didn't change what he drank, only when. I suggested a simple strategy: the hydration taper. He would drink his 32 ounces before 3 p.m., another glass with dinner around 6 p.m., and then after 7 p.m., only small sips if he felt thirsty. The first night, he woke up twice. By the end of the week, he slept through the entire night for the first time since his 60s. He told me, his voice thick with emotion, "I thought my body was failing me. Turns out, I was just giving it the wrong instructions." You don't need to go thirsty. The key is to front-load your hydration. Make it a goal to consume about 75% of your daily water intake by the late afternoon. Keep a water bottle on your desk or in the kitchen as a visual reminder throughout the day. If you feel a dry mouth at night, try a humidifier in your bedroom or simply swish a small amount of water and spit it out. Your prostate isn't asking you to stop drinking water. It's simply asking for a quiet, restful night free from the pressure of a midnight reservoir. Let it rest, and you will too.
Part 2. The Salty Saboteur. How your evening meal affects your prostate. For many of us, dinner is the main event. It's a time to unwind, a time for comfort. And what's more comforting than a warm bowl of canned soup, a quick and easy frozen dinner, or a sandwich piled high with deli meats? They seem harmless, even sensible. But lurking within these convenient meals is a quiet saboteur of your prostate health: sodium. The issue isn't salt itself, but its powerful effect on fluid balance in your body. In simple terms, salt is a water magnet. When you consume a high sodium meal in the evening, your body tissues hold on to excess fluid like a sponge. This process, called fluid retention, doesn't just make your ankles swell or your blood pressure tick up. That retained fluid has to go somewhere, and your body's preferred time to flush it out is while you're in a resting state, when you're asleep. This creates a double jeopardy for your prostate. First, just like drinking too much water, it leads to increased nighttime urine production, nocturia, forcing you out of bed. Second, and more insidiously, a high-sodium diet keeps your entire circulatory system in a state of high alert. Your kidneys have to work overtime to filter the excess salt and fluid, preventing your body from entering the deep, restorative phases of sleep. For a man with an already enlarged prostate, this is a recipe for discomfort. The entire pelvic region remains in a state of tension and mild inflammation. Blood flow is less efficient, and the body's ability to drain fluid smoothly is hampered. You wake up not only to use the bathroom, but also feeling heavy, stiff, and more inflamed than when you went to bed. Let me tell you about David, a 76-year-old widower I met. After his wife passed, cooking became a chore, and he relied heavily on canned chili, processed snacks, and TV dinners. He was diligent about not drinking water before bed, but was still waking up 3 to 4 times, complaining of a constant deep pressure in his pelvis. He didn't connect it to his food. We worked on swapping his evening meals. Instead of canned chili, he tried a simple baked sweet potato with a piece of grilled chicken. Instead of salty crackers, he had a handful of unsalted almonds. He learned to make a big pot of low-sodium vegetable soup on the weekend that he could enjoy throughout the week. The change was not just significant, it was life-altering. Within 2 weeks, he was waking up only once a night. He said, "The pressure is gone. I feel lighter. I didn't realize my dinner was weighing me down all night long." Your prostate is a barometer for your body's overall state. Salty, processed foods create a state of internal stress. Tonight, consider a gentler approach to your evening meal. Think simple, clean, and nourishing. Steamed vegetables, lean proteins like fish or poultry, whole grains like brown rice or quinoa. Season with herbs and spices like garlic, oregano, and turmeric instead of salt. A simple bowl of warm oatmeal can be incredibly satisfying and easy on your system. You're not just eating for your stomach, you're eating for a peaceful night and a calm, happy prostate.
Part 3. The pressure cooker. The danger of holding it through the night. There's a moment every man with prostate trouble knows intimately. It's 2 a.m., you're warm, you're comfortable, and you feel that familiar dull ache, the call of nature. The debate begins in your mind. It's not that urgent, maybe I can just roll over and fall back asleep. I don't want to get out of this warm bed. This seemingly small decision to hold it can turn your bladder and prostate into a veritable pressure cooker, with consequences that build silently over time. When you consciously resist the urge to urinate, you're overriding one of your body's most fundamental health signals. Your bladder, a remarkable muscular sac, is designed to stretch, but not indefinitely. Holding urine forces its walls to stretch beyond their comfortable capacity. Over months and years of doing this, the bladder muscle, the detrusor muscle, can lose its elasticity and tone, much like a balloon that's been overinflated too many times. It becomes weaker and more irritable. Here's where it directly impacts your prostate. The immense pressure from a super full bladder doesn't just stay within the bladder. It pushes downwards and backwards, directly onto the already enlarged prostate gland. This constant mechanical pressure is a major source of inflammation. Furthermore, it makes it significantly harder to fully empty your bladder when you finally do go in the morning. This leftover or residual urine is a serious problem. Stagnant urine in the warm environment of the bladder is a perfect breeding ground for bacteria. This can lead to chronic irritation, a higher frequency of urinary tract infections, which can be particularly painful and dangerous for older men, and a worsening of overall BPH symptoms. You're creating the very problem you're trying to avoid. I recall a conversation with Arthur, an 81-year-old former Marine, a man of immense discipline and pride. He confessed that he viewed getting up at night as a sign of weakness. He would fight the urge, telling himself it was mind over matter. But he was also suffering from recurrent UTIs and a constant feeling of abdominal tightness. His mornings were a struggle, with a weak stream and the sense that he could never quite finish. I framed it differently for him. I told him that responding to his body's signal wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. It was an act of strategic self-care, like cleaning your rifle to prevent it from jamming. He needed to see it not as submitting to the urge, but as maintaining his body's health. He made a pact with himself to get up the moment the urge arose, no matter how slight. Within a month, his morning flow had improved, the tightness in his belly had subsided, and his doctor confirmed his UTIs were gone. "My body was sending me intelligence," he later remarked, "and I finally started listening." Make it easy for yourself to succeed. Ensure the path from your bed to the bathroom is clear and well lit with a soft nightlight. Keep a robe and slippers by your bed. When the urge comes, don't debate it. Respond to it. Let your body reset. You are not just emptying your bladder, you are releasing pressure, reducing inflammation, and giving your prostate the peaceful environment it needs to heal. It's a small act of respect for your body that pays huge dividends in comfort and health.
Part 4. The Gravity Trap. How your sleeping position puts your prostate under pressure. We've discussed what you put into your body, but now let's talk about the position you put your body in for 8 hours every night. Of all the habits, this one is perhaps the most surprising. If you are a stomach sleeper, you could be unknowingly caught in a gravity trap, applying silent, consistent pressure directly to your pelvic region and making your prostate symptoms worse. It seems counterintuitive. How can a sleeping position affect an internal gland? Here's the simple physics of it. When you lie face down, the entire weight of your torso and internal organs shifts forward and downward. This creates a subtle but relentless pressure on your lower abdomen, specifically on your bladder and the prostate gland that sits just beneath it. You might not feel it consciously, especially if you've slept this way for decades. But night after night, for thousands of hours a year, this sustained pressure can have a real impact. It can interfere with optimal blood flow to the pelvic area, which is crucial for reducing inflammation and delivering oxygen and nutrients. It can also impede the proper lymphatic drainage of the lower urinary tract, allowing inflammatory byproducts to linger. The prostate is highly sensitive to congestion. Even a small, chronic increase in external pressure can contribute to swelling, discomfort, and a slower urine flow. Think of it like resting your chin on your hand for a few minutes. No big deal. But if you held that position for 8 hours straight, you'd wake up with a sore jaw and neck. The same principle applies to your pelvic floor when you sleep on your stomach. I once worked with Tom, a 74-year-old retired mechanic who complained of a persistent dull ache in his lower abdomen that was always worst in the mornings. He'd been to specialists who ruled out digestive issues, leaving him frustrated. During our conversation, one detail stood out. He was a lifelong stomach sleeper, often with one leg curled up, which can exacerbate the pressure. I suggested he experiment with side sleeping. It wasn't easy to change a 70-year habit. His solution was brilliant. He built what he called a pillow fortress. He placed a firm pillow between his knees to align his hips and spine, hugged another pillow to keep his shoulders from collapsing forward, and tucked a third pillow behind him to prevent him from rolling onto his stomach in his sleep. He called me a few weeks later, sounding amazed. He said, "It's gone. The morning ache is completely gone. I feel like I've taken a weight off my body that I didn't even know was there." Changing your sleep position requires patience. Side sleeping, particularly on your left side, is often recommended, as it can improve circulation and reduce pressure on internal organs. If you sleep on your back, placing a small pillow under your knees can help flatten your spine and reduce downward pressure on the bladder. It's a quiet change, but a profound one. You spend a third of your life in bed. By simply shifting your position, you can transform that time from a source of stress on your prostate into a period of genuine rest and recovery.
Part 5. The final omission. The critical importance of the last trip to the bathroom right before your head hits the pillow. You're already tucked in, warm and comfortable. You feel a very mild sensation, but you tell yourself, it's nothing, I can hold it till morning. For an older man, this final omission can set the stage for a night of trouble. Going to bed with even a partially full bladder means that urine sits stagnant for hours. This creates that familiar gentle but steady pressure on your bladder walls, and by extension, on your prostate. But it's more than just physical pressure. It's an inflammatory signal. It tells your body that a task is unfinished, keeping the prostate in a state of low-level alert when it should be powering down for rest and repair. As we've discussed, the enlarged prostate already narrows the urethra. Leaving a starter kit of urine in the bladder overnight creates the ideal environment for irritation and even the growth of bacteria. That leftover volume becomes a breeding ground for low-grade inflammation, which, night after night, can accumulate and worsen your daily symptoms. It's why you might find it harder to get a strong stream going in the morning, or why that feeling of urgency seems to hit you harder as the day goes on. I remember Michael, a 69-year-old who admitted he avoided that last bathroom trip simply out of habit. "I never felt like I had to go that badly, so I just didn't bother," he explained. Over the years, however, his nighttime interruptions had increased, and he described his mornings as a slow start. The solution was to turn that final trip into a non-negotiable part of his bedtime routine, as automatic as brushing his teeth or setting his alarm. I also taught him a technique called double voiding. He would go to the bathroom as usual. Then, before leaving, he would sit back down, take 3 deep, relaxing breaths, lean slightly forward, and gently try to urinate again. He was often surprised that a little more would come out.
This simple 2-minute addition to his routine made a world of difference. He began sleeping longer stretches, and the less tension down there feeling he described was palpable. Urination isn't just about responding to urgency. It's about system maintenance. Emptying your bladder completely before sleep resets the system. It gives your bladder and prostate an 8-hour vacation from pressure, allowing your body to focus on healing. Make it your ritual. Wash your face, brush your teeth, and make that final, peaceful trip to the bathroom. Don't rush it. It's not about how much you go, it's about the signal of completion you send to your body. We're done for the day, time to rest. It's a small, respectful act of partnership with your body, and your prostate will thank you with quieter nights and easier mornings.
So many of us have been led to believe that prostate problems are simply attacks on a long life, an unavoidable fate. We quietly accept the nightly bathroom trips, the constant pressure, and the loss of control as just another part of getting older. But as we've explored tonight, so much of this discomfort isn't an inevitable outcome of aging, but a direct result of our habits. It's the late glass of water, the salty dinner, the decision to hold it, the way we sleep, and the skipped final trip to the bathroom. None of these seem dangerous on their own, but like tiny streams feeding a river, they combine to create a powerful current of pressure and inflammation that makes our nights harder and our mornings heavier. The most powerful message I can leave you with is this: your body wants to heal. It has an incredible capacity for recovery. It doesn't need a magic pill or an extreme lifestyle overhaul. Often, it just needs you to stop doing the things that are hurting it. It needs you to listen to its signals and partner with it. You are in the driver's seat. You have the power to make these small, gentle changes starting tonight. You can reclaim your right to a full night of uninterrupted, restorative sleep. You can regain that feeling of comfort, control, and lightness. Which of these habits resonated most with you? Which one will you try changing tonight? Please share your story and your intentions in the comments below. Your journey and your insights are valuable, and they can inspire and encourage another man who might be struggling in silence. Reading your experiences gives us the motivation to continue this important work. If you found this conversation helpful and empowering, please take a moment to click that like button, and most importantly, subscribe to Senior Wise Journey and turn on the notification bell. And if you know a friend, a brother, a husband, or a father who could benefit from this message, please share this video with them. You could be giving them the gift of a better night's sleep. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, stay wise, stay healthy, and sleep well.